I've made quite a few garden mosaics over the years, and today I'm going to give you a tour of all the ones that are in my garden right now. Here we go. Also, it is mid-June. The 10-day forecast shows it's going to be mid to upper 90s the next 10 days. So I've just watered and it's already quite warm even though it isn't even noon yet. Here we go. Starting out my front door, my house faces north and I get quite a bit of shade from all of the trees. But I'm going to start with this garden rock. This is not one that I've made. This is one my daughter made when she was quite young. And she made it by going into my studio to make me a surprise. And so I did not help her do any part of this, and she used weld bond on it. And as you can see, it has had a piece fall off and it's not doing so well because weld bond, of course, is water soluble and it's not meant to be outside. But I keep it because I love my daughter and it's kind of cute and I might fix it someday. Then I have a series of mosaic rocks that I've made, hearts mostly. There's a purple one, a round one, there's another round one. And this is a heart that my daughter made, but she made this when she was a little bit older. She did not use weld bond, so that one should hold up just fine. This is an example of what you shouldn't do. I used glitter tiles here and you can see that they are quite faded. I think I used glitter tiles on one of those rounds also, but they just don't hold up to bright sunlight and the color fades over time. And I have a little flower here. And then I made a garden ball and I just made it all red with a circular pattern. So it's got several round parts and they all kind of just meet. I kind of have a red theme up front with the flowers and my door being red. So that's it up here. And then across the driveway is my other side of my car. I've got, this is the sunniest area. It's in shade right now because we're in the morning, but I have this garden sun and the main feature is that fused moon face, which I just purchased. I didn't make that. And I have the rays coming down, and the rays I tried to put some interesting things like hearts and stars, and these are glow-in-the-dark stars that I purchased. And then it's got some squiggles running through it also. I used a lot of mirror, orange, yellow, and red. Some hot colors. So there it is up close. On the back of the fused moon face, I used glass paint and baked it in the oven so that you could see those features a little bit better. So that sort of overlooks my vegetables and my sun garden. Across from my vegetables, I have got this hydrangea with another garden ball that I did. I think this was the first one I did. And I basically drew that line and then sort of just filled it in with different colors. And my kids make fun of me and said that it, maybe it's supposed to be like this, that it was a Spider-Man ball. And after they said that, I couldn't get that out of my head. So I just kind of tuck it under here, under my hydrangea. And then on the other side of the bed, I've got one of my stepping stones. It's a Gulf fritillary butterfly. And it sort of marks the beginning of my pollinator garden, which is all my flowers. I've got this chipmunk here too because my strawberry patch is not very far away and they like to take one bite out of a strawberry and run away. And then down this way, I've got my little path. This is my path and it just leads to the neighbor's house because we go back and forth just a little bit. I recently had to widen it because these flowers were flopping over onto my path. But I had a lot of people ask me if it was safe, wouldn't they be slippery? Isn't it dangerous? Look, there's the thing sticking up, someone's gonna trip. Honestly, we use it once in a while. It's just us. I'm not worried about it. If I ever had a garden tour through here, maybe I would put a warning. And maybe it's only slippery when it's wet, and I usually wear tennis shoes, so It's pretty safe. We'll go into the backyard. It's always a work in progress. You can see I need to paint my gate. I don't have a whole lot back here, but I do have some a little beetle right here. And I have another beetle right here. I use the mirrored background. They could probably use to be wiped off every once in a while. I'll clean them. Just up from this beetle on this tree is my birdhouse. I'll have to zoom in because I can't get up that high. But I didn't use any glitter tiles on that, but I did use illumination tiles and some pretty sparkly beads. I also used some mirrored glass, mirrored crash glass too. I can't really get around the other sides. And moving around over here, I've got my bird bath that I made. And for those of you wondering, it's not an octopus. These are wisteria hanging down. So I have plans to expand the bed here and pull it out from underneath this plant because leaves always fall in there and make it super dirty and gross. So all these plants I've started are they're just impatiens. I'm gonna plant them in the new flower bed that's gonna go there. And I have a little bridge. I don't really have much back here, but I do have some that my kids made. Here they are. These were just some that my kids made when they were younger, and some of these things had come out, and so I just repaired it a couple years ago, and they're stepping stones, but they're not really big enough for anyone to step on because they're just made from little molds. Here's the fountain. If I swing back this way, this is my Mary garden area, a little statue. And my sister gave me this metal butterfly, and I glued some glass on it. I didn't even grout it, but it does give it some extra sparkle. I love to see it sparkling out here. And then the next mosaic is over this way. I have two more stepping stones right here. I've got my frog. Maybe I should have cleaned these before I came out. And my skinks. I think I'm gonna move the skinks. They're getting covered up by this hosta. So you can't really see them, but there it is. And then up above them, I have this little beauty. So I cut a hole in the middle and I put that little moon face. And then on the edges, I used adhesive, but I stuck pins, these pearl pins, through a bead into the edge. And didn't have to grout the edge or anything. Used a lot of mirror on both sides. Pretty little thing. And I have a few things like these little heart tucked in here. And, oh, I forgot about this one. Garden ball, another garden ball right here. And this one, again, I had a line that I just drew on, swirly pattern. And then I added some rounds and hearts and leaves. And then filled in the background with white. There's not much more. I think there's one right here my daughter made. It's kind of getting covered by moss. Looks like it's part of that stone, but this is actually a tile. We did in a little workshop with a bunch of other girls. They basically just glued things down. They didn't cut anything. And then I grouted them for the girls. Put that right back where it was. And then I have one more. Yikes. Don't look at all the work that needs to be done out here. And it is this welcome sign. This tried to make kind of early on. It's made on a piece of slate. And I made these little ladybugs with half rounds and glass paint that I baked in the oven. And they've held up out here. So that's it. Oh, I was thinking, what else do I have? That had to be it. No, I forgot this big one here, my fountain. So I made this a year ago. And I moved it against this fence here. It was against the house because I wanted to be able to see it from inside the house and enjoy it. I couldn't see it when it was against the house. But Yeah, I'd love to come out here in the morning and drink my coffee and plug in my fountain and just watch it go, my little Bluebird Fountain. I put a couple dragonflies for my 2 nephews who have passed, and a monarch. My mother loved monarchs. And right down the steps off the deck from the fountain, I have this little snail on a rock. I forgot another one. Maybe I should have made a list before I started. But across from that red garden ball is my snail stepping stone. That's it.